Hey guys, welcome back. Episode 1 here of Contract to Close series for buyers. How am I going to afford this home? No matter what the market is in your area, no matter what time of year it is, you still need to know, hey, how am I going to afford this home? And that starts with figuring out your purchasing power. What's purchasing power? That is answering the questions like, how much money do you have to put down? How much of a monthly payment can you actually afford? What is the overall price of a home and all those components of that you can afford as a buyer? That determines your purchasing power. Best way to do that is to get connected with a local residential mortgage professional. I say local and residential mortgage professional because I mean it. Big banks, they're great at banking. That's what they do best, but they're not always great on the residential mortgage side of things. It's kind of like an afterthought for those bigger companies. They're trying to take care of people's money and make sure that their apps are top of the line for user interaction. But the residential mortgage space isn't exactly where they excel. Your realtor should be able to connect you with someone who does great work in the area. Most realtors have connections with at least one, but usually 2, 3, 4, 5 even residential mortgage professionals in the area. So they should be able to connect you with someone who you can have that initial conversation with. As you start that process, sitting down before you even start looking at homes is just so important. I can't stress that enough. You want to be able to find out where you need to start this process, right? Not just, okay, let's start looking at homes. We're so excited. You find a home that you love. Now what? Okay. You can't afford the home. You didn't do the research on the front end to figure out, hey, what monthly payment am I comfortable with? Having those conversations up front, with your realtor at first, with that residential mortgage professional is so key, guys. I can't stress that enough. There are so many different options out there as far as different types of loans, different types of programs that are offered for first-time home buyers, for military people, for first responders, for teachers. So the mortgage professional will have all of that information. They'll be able to ask the questions that they need from you, to figure out, okay, what's the best plan here? What is the best package that we could possibly put together? Do you need help with a down payment? Some people do. They don't have that money saved up and put aside, but they still need to buy a house right now for whatever reason. And so they'll be able to provide. There are a couple different programs that assist people with down payments. Some are just grants that you don't have to pay back. Some you might have to pay back, but there are options out there if you don't have a huge chunk of money saved up for that down payment. Then as far as veterans, there's obviously the VA loan. Most of you would know about that. That's a 0% down loan. So that's a loan that allows you to get into a house with no money down, which is huge. And that's a huge benefit to our veterans, for the service that they've given our country. So focus on those kind of conversations with your lender. They should be able to walk you through those programs. There's FHA loans, which are typically 3.5% down. That's a huge benefit to, people who don't have a lot saved up, but have a little bit. Then there are conventional loans that can be anywhere from 5 to 20+% down. If you want to try to knock that monthly payment down as far as you can by putting a huge chunk down, well, that's something that you would be able to do through a conventional loan. They'll be able to walk you through all of those different options, all the different programs, much better than your realtor will. Your realtor will have that baseline knowledge to get things started, but then to have that further in-depth conversation with your mortgage officer will be huge. There are a couple things that your mortgage professional will need from you probably as they get that process started. If you are a W-2 employee, they're going to need your tax returns. They're going to need your W-2s. They're going to look at pay stubs, those kind of things, just to get that preliminary financial overview of your situation. They'll be able to look at those things and say, okay, hey, this is probably where you should start looking. We can provide a range for you here as to what we think you're going to be able to afford. And then they'll do more digging on the back end once you get under contract on a home and they start that what's called the underwriting process. But we'll get to that at a later time. So just to wrap up, guys, as we start this process, having that conversation with your local residential mortgage professional is huge. I can't stress that enough. They will give you that jumping off point in your search. I know you're excited to get to the search part of the home buying process. It's what everybody likes to do. They like to go look at the homes, all this, this home's so beautiful, but we want to make sure that you can afford it first. So start there, have that conversation, get your starting point for your search, and then your realtor can kind of start to tailor things towards, hey, what can we actually afford? Where do we need to be, monthly payment wise, all of those things. So start there. That will save you a lot of stress and heartache if you've already been looking at homes and you find that dream home, but oh man, we can't actually afford it. So make sure you know that going in. Thanks for joining me. Come back next week for episode 2. We'll dive into some more content for you guys, and don't forget to do something kind for somebody today. Thanks.